Bless up, everybody. This is your girl Rua, sending enough love and big shout outs to DJKat. Go on with your thing, DJ.
Studio, and then having the ability to go out there and play those songs and test them out in the clubs or at festivals is always fun as well. So yeah, I think I would have to say I love them evenly, you know. I love them. Yeah.
Wow. So when did you start doing music?
Started age of about 12, 13, got into DJing, got into hip hop, and I was into jungle a lot as well, and garage, but I always had a passion for reggae and dancehall. Obviously my father is David Rodigan, a reggae DJ and radio broadcaster, so yeah, it was always around me, you know.
Yeah.
In the house.
Wow. So when you're listening to music and you're going through it, what type of music are you listening to at the moment?
At the moment, I love all types of music. I mean, I'm really into new artists called Big Zeeks.
Okay.
I've been working with him quite extensively. We've done some music together. He's a sort of UK kind of bridging the gap between dancehall and rap, that kind of style.
Yeah.
And also, I'm really into Trillery Banks, who's another young, bright talent from Leicester. She's on the UK dancehall tip as well. So yeah, definitely two artists to watch out for.
Wow. So you mentioned your dad is David Rodigan, of course. So your dad being who he is, the name Rodigan, did it ever come with any kind of pressures or anything like that for yourself?
Not really. People think that it comes with a pressure to kind of, I don't really know. I don't know. I guess it's obviously people say, you know, big shoes to follow, but I've always just been, I've had a passion for music from a young age, so it's never really been a thing where I even really thought about it.
Yeah.
Because music is just second nature to me, always in the household. You know, I grew up in that world, you know, so to me, I don't really feel or see any pressure.
You know, it's interesting that you've said that because I've asked a lot of artists such as Marla Brown, with her dad being Dennis Brown, and other artists that have really big surnames, and they all say the same thing. So obviously there isn't as much pressure as people assume there would be.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess not. Yeah, I guess it depends person to person. You know, everybody is different. But I just don't really think that there was much pressure because it is kind of in our blood, especially if you grow up in music and you have, you know, creative musicians, and you're in that world. It kind of, you know, it becomes a second nature.
Yeah. So, what did you personally take from your dad when you've watched him? You must have watched him DJing, etc. So, what did you personally take from him, now being a DJ yourself?
Has a very strong work ethic, and he definitely handed that down to me.
Wow.
When it comes to music and the things, you know, always good to have an open ear as well, you know?
Yeah.
It's really important.
Definitely. So, when you're doing your music or whatever, do you run it by your dad as well, or do you just do your own thing?
I guess a touch of it is like, you know, like I do run certain things by him, definitely. Yeah, it's always good to get, you know, another opinion.
Yeah.
It just varies, you know, sometimes I kind of know, I can like I know what sounds good, but yeah, always good to get another opinion. And it just so happens I can get one from somebody who knows reggae and dancehall inside out, so yeah, always good.
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose when you're growing up all the way to now, who's been your inspiration overall?
Who's been my inspiration? Hugely inspired by people like Damian Marley.
Yeah.
Icons like Bounty Killer was a huge inspiration to me and still is to this day.
Yeah.
People like, who else? I would say, yeah, those two are very big influences on me. And also, you know, a lot of hip hop producers and people like Pete Rock.
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, in that sound. A lot of drum and bass and jungle DJs and producers, people like Ray Keith, who were kind of around me at a younger age and helped me in terms of developing my sort of sound and showing me little tricks of the trade and that kind of thing. And yeah, just kind of being helpful and mentoring and guiding me. So yeah, I would say people like that were a big influence on me.
Wow. So, of course, you've got your dad who's a big fan of music, yourself. How about the rest of your family, your mum, etc.? Are they really big on music as well?
My mum is a huge music fan. Yeah, I mean she's big on soul and rare groove. She loves house and garage.
Okay.
My mum's got a really open ear. Yeah, she loves everything. She loves right up to reggae, dancehall, across the board.
Yeah. Wow. So, being a DJ, of course, we're both fellow DJs. What would you say is the most important thing for being a DJ?
I think one of the most important things is to remember that you're there to entertain people. I think some DJs get a little bit confused and think that they're there to play their personal record collection or whatever. I think there needs to be an element of taste making, playing songs that maybe the public don't know, so there's an element of that.
Yeah.
So catering to them in the way that, they want, people want to be entertained and enjoy themselves, and I think that's a real key part of being a good DJ. And to be a good selector, my dad always said you have to be a good selector. Be a good selector, you have to be a good record collector.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I understand you're on, is it Represent Radio?
Yes, I am. I'm on Represent Saturday evening, 5 till 7 p.m. The last Saturday of the month. That's changing pretty soon, but I can't say much.
Okay. Wow, you might have to give me an exclusive very soon.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're on the radio, what is the difference for you? Because I know there's a massive difference from being on air and being out in the club. What would you say is the difference?
Difference, I think, is that on the radio you can you can pace it a bit more in a club atmosphere. I would say there's a lot more pressure to kind of perform and deliver.
Yeah.
For a crowd of people. So in that respect, you have to be kind of on the buttons and prepped. Whereas on a radio show, you can kind of take it more at your pace. I would say a radio show is important depending on the genre or what you're kind of doing. But for me, I like to feature new music. I like to feature guests and entertainers and people that are not only just musicians as such, but people who are important to the dancehall scene and the culture.
Yeah.
So, you might invite a dancer in, or you might do a feature on something, or just to make it, just a little bit different from the clubs and palatable for the listener and accessible.
Yeah, definitely. Because sometimes I think people forget that there's a background to the music and where it's come from. They just see their finished project. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into a song that people might not know about.
Yeah. Well, I understand that are you a producer as well?
I am, yes.
Wow.
I produce with Crate Classics.
Yeah.
My co-producer Aaron Horn.
Okay.
We've produced it for 2 years now.
Wow. How have you found that then, from the rest of the things that you do?
It's been great, yeah. I mean, last year we did a remix for an artist called Sampha, who won the Mercury Music Prize.
Yeah.
That featured Nadia Rose. I don't know if you know Nadia. She's a talented sort of hip-hop dancehall sort of artist.
Yeah.
She's very good. She featured on the remix.
Okay.
And we also put out a sort of dancehall rhythm as well called Friday. And that was good. And just really busy working with artists as well. We're going to be dropping a load of new music this year. Stuff that we've kind of had in the archives, sort of put down from last year as well. So really looking forward to releasing those tracks.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you probably a random question now, which is, I'm sure you've heard about Black Panther the movie.
I have, yes, but I've not seen it.
What? How have you not seen this?
I know. I've literally been living in my studio. I've been working on every single Don Andre, so forgive me. I've been a bit of a hermit. I've been a bit of a studio rat. And not
That's
been
okay.
Out, but,
no problem. So, well, I'm guessing you must have heard about it and certain things about it. Well, your initial thoughts. What are you thinking about it?
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I'm really excited to go and see it. As it's the sort of first of its kind, and forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it is a great movie, great storyline.
Awesome.
Definitely. So, at the minute, you're listening to a lot of different artists, etc. Who would you rate at the moment, say in the UK, Jamaica, or anywhere?
Well, I definitely rate Big Z's. As
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, we've been working together and got some exciting projects coming up. Also,
Yeah.
Don Andre, Styler G, I think really talented. I think a new artist called Indie.
Okay.
She's cool. Also, Trillery Banks. And that's just the UK alone. I mean, Jamaica, there's so much talent there. You've got a kid called Runkus, Black Hero, obviously Chronic, Stray Island, Popcorn, Alkaline, and the music is just flourishing. Be it reggae, dancehall, however you want to look at it. But it's in a really healthy place. You've also got new artist Samurai. I think he's really talented.
Yeah, he's great.
So, yeah, definitely a few key figures to watch out for. So Massacre.
Yeah.
He's another one that I think is, especially on the dancehall scene, got big things.
Yeah. So do you remember when you were younger and the first time you DJ'd or you went out onto a live stage?
I do, yeah. I mean, my sort of baptism of fire was the tag team clash at Stratford Rex. I think it was 2010, which is like the first time I actually properly played on a stage anywhere.
Yeah.
And that was a clash that featured Mighty Crown, Bass Odyssey, Kilimanjaro, Tony Matterhorn, and I was selecting for Dave Rodigan, my dad.
Yeah.
It was an incredible night, and we ended up winning the clash and taking the trophy home. And that was a memorable night.
Wow. What did your dad say to you? He must have said something memorable for you.
Don't mess up, I think, or something like that.
Wow, definitely.
Don't mess it up.
No pressure then.
No, I'm joking. I think he just was like, have fun, I think.
Yeah.
From what I remember. Yeah, it was all over pretty quickly.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, it was a great night.
Wow. So, at the moment, from what you've said, who would you want to perform with or work alongside with at the minute?
I definitely like to work with artists like Dre Island, Runkus, Black Hero, in the studio. We actually did a live performance, Royal Blue, Runkus, Black Hero, and myself at Reggae Guild last year.
Yeah.
And we kind of been trying to get in the studio together. So yeah, I mean, definitely those guys, Dre Island. Love to work with them. Yeah.
Wow. So, from what I can gather, you're a big hip hop fan as well.
Love hip hop, yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people say that reggae music and hip hop are quite similar. Would you agree?
I would say dancehall is definitely bears similarities to hip hop. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. What do you mean, like the struggle from it, or just the music in general?
I think the way dancehall has become now, it is, because it's dominated by it's a digital sound. It's no longer analog as such.
Yeah.
Therefore, it naturally is going to, and obviously where the location, Jamaica and America being close in proximity, and America's always had a big influence in Jamaica because a lot of those classic reggae songs are covers of old soul records.
Yeah.
So there's always been that relationship there with them, and I think it's just evolved into what it is now. Dancehall kind of sounds like hip hop in a way, and hip hop sounds a bit like dancehall. They influence each other, and it's a great thing. I don't have any objection to it. I know some people kind of think that maybe dance will lose its identity a bit if it sounds more like hip hop, but I don't really think that. I think dancehall has a strong identity and will always continue to maintain that, no matter where the influence comes from.
Yeah, definitely. So, have you been to Jamaica recently?
Not that recently. No, it was a few years ago. My last visit.
Okay.
But I'm heading there this year.
Okay. Look at you. It's cold. Is it cold up in London?
Heading back. Yeah, it's time. Overdue.
Yeah. It's cold, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Happy.
So.
It's freezer.
I know. So where can people link you for your music?
Sure, you can hit me up at Crate Classics on the social media at CRTCLSSX, and then at Jamie Rodigan as well on SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I understand you've got quite a few events coming up. I've seen them popping up on Facebook. Do you want to tell the people about them?
Yeah, for sure. If you're in London this Friday, I'm going to be at a club called Paradise up in Kilburn, which is the northwest side of London, for a night called Fever. And I'm also going to be travelling around. I'm going to be over in Italy at the end of the month for a couple of shows. And we've got a big show coming up on the 1st of April in London, an event called Carnival Cartel.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Follow me on Instagram for the updates, and look out for some big tunes dropping this year.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, maybe one time me and you can link up on the radio or something like that.
For sure, we'll have to get you on Represent, definitely.
Of course, yeah, I would love to do that. So,
Wicked.
So you've talked about your events and what's coming up next. Is there any last words you want to give to the people before we say goodbye for now?
Education is key. Stay in school, kids. Love yourself, love one another, read a book.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Wow. Positive message there. Read a book. Okay. Thank you for calling in.
God bless. Thank you, Kat.
No worries. You too. See you later.
Yes, take care.
Bye-bye.